Welcome to another episode of Revelations. My name is Maame Grace. This is the biggest spiritual platform across board. We educate ourselves here. Yes, here we respect everybody's belief and everybody's worship because we believe in time. Yes. Today we are going to have a very beautiful conversation with a very great man. And there will be baby wasum ubesua niama papa. It's also see happen who I say fake cross. I want to start at the end of the year. We are going to learn a whole lot. Once again, welcome to Revelations. And my name is Maame Grace. Today, no, your guest and I want is Mr. MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE. Papa, welcome to Revelations.
Thank you.
Is the name correct, Papa?
Yes.
Okay. Today we are going to talk about African spirituality, who we were and who we have become now, and what it has cost us. Yes, this is what we are discussing today. Papa, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay. Viewers, as you've heard my name already, I'm MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE, a cultural anthropologist, and I double as the one who tells people what was in the beginning, what is now, and what must come tomorrow. What we have been experiencing is that we have, as people, been borrowing other people's eyes to see, which is wrong. So, I'm going to ask you why you think that to borrow somebody's name and claim that is your name is acceptable unto your Creator. Thank you for welcoming me into your humble abodes.
Thank you so much, Papa, for coming. Today, like I said, we are talking about African spirituality, who we were and who we have become and what it is causing us. Papa, what is African spirituality?
African spirituality is the recognition of the fact that the African was not created as an inferior human being. In fact, the African was the first person to have set foot on this planet they call Earth. And African belief systems have guided our ancestors in their journey through time. That makes us those who were created in the image and likeness of the I am that I am. If you look at our earth, what color do you see? Brown and black. Why is it that we have abandoned the plain truth and we are following falsehood? African spirituality will guide us on our journey to know ourselves. As we were in the beginning, our ancestors did. And you look at the water bodies meander like snakes. So that is what African spirituality will teach you. Know thyself. That is the question.
Okay, Daddy, so what is the plain truth that we have left and what have you borrowed?
What we have borrowed is what reflects on your hair. You have borrowed that one. The other thing you have borrowed is the foreign name you call yourself. The Creator didn't give you those names. The Creator didn't make you in that image. Why is it that you think those are correct? And you are saying something about modernity. What is modern about enslaving yourself? Is there anything modern about it? Then we go and get a Taiwan hairstyle, and we think that we are glorifying the Creator. The Creator makes us understand that He never made any mistake. We are living in a society where things which are ours, we no longer respect them. We respect things which are brought from outside. We glorify ourselves eating junk food. And we think that that is civilization. But before the white man will come and talk about civilization, we had already known. We had built the pyramids. The white man calls it pyramid. But that was not the name our people called it. Our people had names for everything that they had. We were the first people who built rock structures. But today, we glorify the white man for doing those things which our ancestors have done. And you get to some of our people and they start singing, "Ye na na no, ye na na no, ye na na no sum abosan," or something like that. Abosum. Who made the abosum? Can you point to one person who has made abosum? They said we worship stones and rocks and water bodies. Nobody can point to his chest and say that he made the sea. He made the trees that we are supposed to be worshiping. You go to the US today and your girlfriend is celebrating her birthday and you buy a snake and give to her as a birthday present. If it were to be a black man in Africa who does that one, they say he's a pagan. So where have we reached? We have reggae, like Bob Marley says, we have reggae back into slavery. We don't respect anything that we do again. I was seeing some politicians going to a function and they are wearing three-piece suit in a tropical weather. And we say we are civilized, we are developing. What are we developing to achieve? We are developing to achieve backwardness. We have institutions supposed to be institutions of higher learning. And what do they teach our children? They teach our children that it was Columbus who discovered America. America was there. The people have been living there for ages. Before Christopher Columbus was supposed to have discovered America. And we all believed it. Don't we?
So, Daddy, what is the African truth, the truth that we have ignored? Please, can you name them for me?
The first truth. I don't know if you have heard of Ethiopia. You've heard of Ethiopia. You have heard of Italy. You have heard of Italian invasion of Ethiopia, bombing and killing and cutting heads of our chiefs. And they were telling us that that is the knowledge system we have to accept. Right? If you look at what Italy did in Ethiopia, and these are the people who are here with us. If you leave Italy and you go to Belgium, King Leopold, he told his missionaries going to the Congo that don't teach the African the knowledge of God, because the African already knows God. All the things which have been claimed to be in the 10 Commandments, the Africans already knew them. But what he told them to do was to help the Belgium administrators to make sure that they take all the things that we have to develop Belgium. Today, we have the Belgium embassy here, right? The Belgium, which he left behind, King Leopold left behind, has become the headquarters of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You know what the North Atlantic Treaty Organization does? It's to wage wars on people who don't believe in Western oppression. They call Western democracy. That is what Brussels is today. Brussels, the capital of Belgium. And why didn't the white people call Brussels or King Leopold to question? Because the Pope sitting down there says that if you are not a Christian, you must be killed. If you are not a Christian, you must be perpetually enslaved. And Pope Nicholas V issued a papal bull, that was a decree, telling all Christians that perpetually enslave people who are not Christians. Why? You sure? The decree which made your ancestors and other slaves was issued by Pope Nicholas V. And he gave authorization to the Portuguese to go and arrest and enslave people.
Because they are not Christians.
Yes, they claimed they were not Christians. And you dance around here and call yourself Christians. And the brutalization of the black race, the oppression, suppression, and stealing of the knowledge system of black people were promoted by the so-called Christians. You got where we have reached? China, India, Japan, all these people are not Christians. Why? And they are developing. And we are Christians. Coincidentally, we have a leader who says that he is going to build a cathedral. Meanwhile, we have so many churches. The Roman Catholic Cathedral at Asylum is there. You look into Accra, you study the population of so-called Christians, and you will see that Ghana, we are very, very developed in stupidity. We are going backwards. We are not developing anything. We are not promoting anything. When I ask you, who was the first person who made an aircraft? How will you answer that one? They told us that the Icarus brothers were the first people to have waxed feathers to their arms and launched the world into the aviation age, about 100 and few years ago. Then they tell you that the Wright brothers, very soon we will be celebrating the Wright brothers launching the world into the aviation age, also about 100 years ago. Then Leonardo da Vinci was supposed to have flown the first engine plane over 200 years ago. We glorify all these people. But the first people to have launched the world into the aviation age were people who had colors like you. They were blacks. Why are those things not being taught in the schools? They are not being taught in the schools because if they are taught in the schools, the black man will recognize the contribution of his ancestor. And he will not keep around singing that his grand ancestors worship some devils and what have you. Every time you will have a painting of the devil, what color? Black. Every time you will have a painting of the angel, is white. And they continue teaching you that, and you continue accepting that one. Are you not enslaving your mind, your children, your children's children? What is wrong with the African?
Papa, please, so are you saying that we've become slaves just because we decided to be Christians?
You become slaves just because you decided to be Christians? Did you decide to be a Christian? What can you say about the Crusades? You know there was crusade, several crusades. What were they doing? They have to brutalize you to accept what they are claiming. Now, in the beginning of the confusion, the Greeks came into Egypt. They colonized, they stole everything and sent them to Greece. Now today, if you're going to talk about philosophy, you will talk about Socrates, you will talk about Plato, you will talk about all these crazy people. Pythagoras' theorem, you have read about Pythagoras' theorem in school, right? Who was Pythagoras? At the time the Pythagoras theorem was being developed, the pyramids of Egypt had been built. And it was the same theorem which was used in building the pyramids 6,000 years before Pythagoras' great-grandfather was born. So what theorem did he bring? If you come from close to a water body, I believe most of you come close to water bodies. The people who use the canoes on the water bodies, were they taught by anybody in Marine Engineering University? Go to Jamestown, go to Osuteshi and all these places, and find out from the fishermen who taught them how to use the canoes on the sea. They learned those things from their ancestors. But today, we believe that it was the white man who taught us. And once we continue to believe that one, we will continue to be going backwards. We won't reason. Because that is what they want us to do, not to reason.
So, Papa, is it Christianity or the white man? Which is
Are
which?
you separating them?
We should put them together.
What is the difference between the so-called Christian and the white man?
Because some of the white men are Muslims or are different. I mean,
Well, what will you call the Kaaba? What is the Kaaba?
the Mecca thing they go.
Yes, what is it?
Is it not their festival
Which festival?
for the Muslims?
Who are the Muslims?
Another religious body.
Okay. You see, the Kaaba is the black rock. They go and dance around the black rock, and our people here will also put up money to go and dance around some black rock somewhere. And they said it was Abraham who hit some stick on the ground and the water started gushing out. Then you ask yourself, who was Abraham? Where was he? Then they tell you that, oh, Abraham was the same person as Ibrahim. And you believe. You hold on to that one. And when you have one city, you want to go and be called a stranger. You go to Mecca, you come back, you are called what? Al-Hajj. Al-Hajj simply means that you are a stranger. And you glorify yourself. And you are walking around and they are calling you Al-Hajj, Al-Hajj, and you are happy.
So, Papa, I want to know about the white and Christianity. Is it Christianity they used in stealing our minds, or it is money? Which is which?
Don't just rush. Christianity, where did it come from? When the Greeks came to Egypt, right? Pope is not Pope. He called himself a pharaoh. Ptolemy Philadelphus II. He took over from his father, who was the bodyguard to the so-called Alexander the Great. Now, having taken over, he caused the priests and the sages of the Nile Valley. They changed the name of the valley, and they called it the Nile Valley. But find out what was the original name of that valley.
Papa, what was the original name?
The original name is Serda, the Divine Snake Valley. And when you are up in the skies and you look at that river body moving, it moves like a snake. So you look at the pharaoh's crown and you see the head of a snake there. Why? Because the snake is a representation of that mystical energy. So you go into the medical field and you look at the pharmacies and all these things, what do they represent health with? The snake. But they come and tell you that the snake is the one who tempted Eve. And Eve went and tempted Adam. And they ate the forbidden fruit. And God, the Creator, who knows everything, who sees everything, didn't realize that they had done anything wrong. So God moves in the garden, the so-called Garden of Eden, and asks, Adam, where are you? Eve, where are you? You think that the Creator, the all-powerful, will be engaged in that, Jack, where are you? It's a question. The Creator will never walk around asking, where are you? The Creator knows everything already. Wherever you are passing, He is seeing you because He is the Creator of everything. You can't hide from the Creator. But we were told they hid from the Creator. And when Adam or Cain killed Abel, the Creator was asking Cain, where are you? He said, I've done something wrong, so I am hiding from you. And you accept that one. And you accept that there was a Creator who is the all-knowing one, sitting down and causing all these deaths to take place, and still cannot identify who did what. When they came, the Greeks, Ptolemy said, let us get these sages who knew more about these things to translate that one into our common Greek language. And that common Greek language was what brought about the Greek Orthodox Bible. The Greek Orthodox Bible haven't come. When the Romans overthrew the Greeks, then they said, no, let's take this one and let's call it our Bible, our Holy Bible. And the Holy Bible is so holy that the Romans can be killing people, maiming people, all in the name of God.
Okay, so Papa, if they took all these things from here and changed the name, what is wrong with us being a Christian? Because according to you, they picked everything from here, from us. So
wait, don't rush. What name were you calling yourself?
Maame Grace.
Yes, Grace. Is Grace part of you, the name that the Creator gave you?
The Creator, for my own opinion, the Creator didn't give me name. It's my parent that gave me name. Unless
who were your parents representing?
The Creator, right? So the name they gave me, then they gave me the Grace. They named me my native name as Efiesika, and they added Grace.
What does the Efiesika say? What's the meaning?
Efiesika, the Efia is the day that I was born, and then the Sika is the
it's also
grandmother's name.
English name?
No.
Your grandmother's name?
Great-grandmother's name.
And he's representing you.
Yes.
And you are the representation of your great-grandmother. You didn't like that one. Your parents were also miseducated to think that when they give you grace, then you have grace.
Yes.
A nation in custody.
But Papa, what has the names got to do with what we are discussing now?
Your
about
name
my
will
belief.
define who you are, where you come from, what you can do tomorrow or tomorrow's next. Your name. Your name is just not a combination of alphabets. Your name must be capable of telling everybody where you come from. If I call myself MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE, if you hear that name, where will you think I come from?
Volta region.
Yes. So your name should tell you, your Grace name should tell you that you are coming from Europe, which you are not coming from. All right? Your parents have made a mistake of giving you some kind of slave name, and you are glorifying that one that it was given to you by the Creator. The Creator never gave you that name. And anybody who gave you that name, him or herself, is equally enslaved.
So, Papa, what are we supposed to go back to worship instead of Christianity or any other religion? What are we supposed to worship? Because according to you...
What was the Creator, what did the Creator give you?
What did the Creator give us as Africans or Ghanaians? What are we supposed to worship?
I made you in my own image and likeness. Right? What was the image and likeness that the Creator made you? I told you that when you look at the ground, you will see the color of the Creator. If it is not brown, it is black. And you left all that one, and you are going to take something which is not given to you. So you want to worship the American God. They said, in God we trust, isn't it? And then this God says that thou must not kill. And they go to Afghanistan and kill. And you are happy, isn't it? They are in Syria now killing. Those who are supposed to be the children of this supreme God who is a white man are those killing the Palestinian children. And you think that that is how the Creator made it. The Creator was accused of having led the people from Egypt through the Red Sea. Is that true? He could not have led them through the Red Sea, because the place they said they were moving from, Goshen, was in Egypt. At that time, at this time, and at all future times, that place will remain where it was. And then the Bible comes to tell you that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You have read that one?
Yes, I fear no evil.
Yes.
Because thou art with
Where
me.
is the shadow of the valley of the shadow of death? Where is it? Why the silence? You were repeating. Now, where is that valley of the shadow of death? Where is it?
So, Papa, what?
The valley of the shadow of death is right here in Africa. It has always been in Africa, and it will continue to be in Africa.
And what is that, please? Break it
The
down.
valley of the shadow of death. There is a mountain along this stretch. There is another mountain along this stretch. Behind this mountain, you have the burial grounds of the kings. Behind this range of mountains, you have the burial grounds of the queens. In between the two mountain ranges, you have the valley of the shadow of death. Because there is death here, there is death here. Now they come and turn the whole thing, and they made you look outside. That is where the valley of the shadow of death is. Now when you look at one of the stories, they told you also the death of Yeshua ben Yosef, the alleged death. You remember that Yeshua ben Yosef, or the character they told you is Jesus the Christ, was crucified, allegedly crucified, right? Where was he crucified? When he was in difficulty, his parents were in difficulty, where did they go? They went into Egypt. And you know what explains that one? Because Egypt was the habitation of the black people. You will say no, because Arabs are there now. You go into Egypt and look at the Sphinx of Giza. The Sphinx tells you the people who were there, they were blacks.
You are watching Revelations, and my name is Maame Grace. I am here with Papa AHADZIE. Yes, and you see, in some nano so sweet, enti yemre no ayebe. Our conversations with. We want to understand who we are, what we have to go back for, and what will bring us peace. Where are we going? Same time next week, Revelations will come your way once again. My name is Maame Grace, and I am your host. God bless us all. We are Revelations, the biggest spiritual platform ever. Yes, across board. Spiritual platform be anyone ma ekasa ana ekese e the chain Revelations. Yes. Last week in the Saudi wasum. Obi also ono de okoshia Lucifer. No ne call restaurant. Na wa wote ye. And one egu so we keep educating people. Yet and my name is Maame Grace. I'm going to be your host for today. Sefe na wa join and you've not lost anything yet. Afe na me babe introducing me guest, you know. One of the biggest. I call him the king himself, who rules in a kingdom or an empire, or yet just a king by mouth. He's one of the handsome men in Ghana. And I think every woman wants to have him. Why? Because every woman wants to have a man that can cook. And he cooks a whole lot. Yes, you are wondering. Yes, today is one of a kind. Yes, today's episode is very, very special to me because it carries a whole lot of elements. Papa Mwakwaba. And the Revelations. So, Enti, Papa Mpachobo, we didn't introduce you. Which la manfo.
Media no di for confidence ama. Di for confidence ama so need na jagreja ndi. Jagreja susu ni.
You are watching Revelations. We are the biggest spiritual platform. We help ourselves to learn here on this particular platform. My name is Maame Grace. I am Revelations. And today I am here with Papa MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE. We are winning. We bring the best out of him. And he is education. He's learned. And I know you love him and you will learn something when he sits on this set. Once again, I welcome you to the biggest spiritual platform. Papa Mema Wakwaba, I welcome you to Revelations platform. Papa.
Thank you.
You are teaching us about other Asian Kemet or Egyptian Kemet. I don't know which one is correct. We want to know about the Kemet.
Thank you. I will talk about Kemet. Or Kemet. There are those who think that anything pronounced in the original language of the world is a taboo to them. Especially in this our setting we call the country of Ghana. Unfortunately, people have assumed the status of being judges in linguistics. And when you see how appointments are going on now, you will see that one particular linguistic group is dominating virtually everything, which is not quite palatable. But when we come to look at the names of the kings of ancient Kemet, then you come to look at the invasions which occurred leading up to the Greco-Roman invasion. Then we have people we call judges, justices. And then the justices, when you go to the law school, you're going to learn what? You're going to learn Latin. They will be teaching you Latin. Say ceteris paribus and all these things in Latin. But then you ask yourself, where did they get the judicial languages from? Who were those who wrote the first laws? They tell you in the Christian philosophy or theory that Moses went and climbed the Sinai hill and went and took the 10 Commandments from God, who was in a burning bush, isn't it? And then the 10 Commandments, when you look in the 42 laws, 42 negative confessions of the ancient Kemetians, you will see that the 10 Commandments are all in there. In our society, we abhor violence. We abhor killings. In the ancient scripts, they told you, thou must not kill. And then it comes to the Christian Bible, they say, thou shalt not kill. They say anything which has been offered to the gods or the deities, don't go and take it. Whatever belongs to your neighbor belongs to your neighbor, not to you. So you have no right to go and take those ones. And there are 42 negative confessions. You have to confess that you will not do these things. When you do it, you must have your punishment. And what do we see today? They know that the thing they are going to do is not correct. They will do it. Then the ancient Kemetians captured all this information, and it was taken away to Turin. And they called it the Turin Judicial Papyrus. What has been written on the black man's land by the black man in the temples, they have taken all that one and presented as their own. So now you're going to learn law, you must go and learn someone else's language. You want to speak one law, you are going to make reference to some British judgment or something. What of your own? Have you taken care of what you have? God is not discriminated. The Creator never discriminated against anybody, apart from the black man who thinks that he has been discriminated against. The construction of airplane was done by the black man. But what did they tell us? They told us that Icarus brothers from Greece, they were those who waxed feathers to their arms and launched the world into the aviation age just 100 and something years ago. Then the Americans also came and said the Wright brothers were those who went and climbed some of the Rocky Mountains, waxed feathers to their arms, and launched the world into the aviation age some 100 and something years ago. Then they came again. The Italians came and said, Leonardo da Vinci was the first person to have flown an engine plane about 200 years ago. But then you go into the records and you will see that the ancient Kemetians have flown wooden glider, flying in the wooden glider. Then they said they were flying in what? Yamavu, the vehicle which flies in the air. And that was about 2,000 years ago. You go to the Egyptian museum, you will see the sea-going vessel. And they call it Tojivu. Right? It's Tojivu because it moves on water. And they added the third one. Which is the third one? Transport system. You have the air. You have the water. You have a third one. The third one is the natural one. You walk. Walking is the natural form of movement. Well, we have abandoned that one because we all want to be flying and be dancing in semicircles. As for motorbike, it is also a car, so you don't worry so much. But the three major forms, either you go by air, you go by water, or you go by foot. And our ancestors were footing. All the exodus, traveling and all this, they did on foot.
Why are they able to change all these things and we have accepted them?
Like I was asking you about the issue of so-called slave trading. When I come to your house and I'm holding AK-47, I say, oh, everything that you have, give it to me. Will you refuse?
The gun has power.
Okay.
Nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die, but you all want to go to heaven. But you can't go to heaven without dying.
I want to die in my own time, Papa.
Who gave you some time to die?
Everybody will die. Are we not going to die one day?
You say you want to die at your own time.
When my God-given time is...
God drew a timetable for you?
Papa, are we not going to die one day?
No, I'm asking you.
Papa, are you the host?
Oh, I'm the hostess. You see that there is this thing called the Oxyrhynchus papyrus. When immediately they talk about papyrus, you should know where it comes from. It comes from Kemet. Papyrus is a plant which grows in a flooding area. So when you move from the Abyssinian highlands and coming up to the delta, but before we reach there, see that we were talking about names. Then they call some place Mesopotamia. They call others Babylon. Babylon was a military camp. You know that one? And when those African Americans sang their song, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat when we remembered Sion. Where are the rivers? They will tell you Tigris and Euphrates. Two rivers merging into one to enter into the sea. They say that's the rivers of Babylon. But when you have 7 branches of a river entering into the sea, how will you call that one? That should be the true rivers of Babylon. And when you read the Romanus Pontifex, you will be seeing that the issue they are bringing up is coming close home to you. But you don't believe that one because you have been given some black book. Now we have some red colors of the book. Some are green and some... And they call that one the Holy Bible, which is supposed to contain the words of God. But only they can't tell you where they met God and he wrote that thing for them. Which type of pen that God used in writing, they won't tell you. So these British people went to the Southern River Valley and they found first Ptolemy Philadelphus II. They tell you when Ptolemy was being installed as the king of the Lower Egypt, they said he is being installed and he has become a king. He married a woman first. Then later on, he came and married his own biological sister. Why? He married his own biological sister who was Cleopatra the 7th. Cleopatra the 7th was the concubine of the late Julius Caesar. And she gave birth to a child for Julius Caesar, known then as Caesarus. After Julius Caesar was killed, she married Mark Antony, gave birth to 4 children. Then came and married their own brother. And they said it was in accordance with the culture of the place. And that culture of the place was that when you are born as a man and you have a woman following you, that is your wife. Right? In the every language, they will tell you, I don't like the people who talk about paleo and all these things because I don't understand that English. In the every language or culture, they will tell you that is your nostrum, your mother's wife she has given to you.
Is it still happening?
No. Because we have been misdirected to think that that was a wrong thing. Then you go and marry somebody from outside somewhere, then the next moment blows. You throw blows. The woman to say, no, this time we are in a women's league, so I won't agree. I won't allow you to even go and have any concubine anywhere. But she cannot take all the thing.
What thing?
The rod of Moses.
Papa, which rod of Moses?
You want to know what thing?
Yes.
I've told you. Huh? What was the name of that Ghanaian musician? Or what is his name? A.B. Crescent. Or? Was that not what he said?
I don't remember.
Oh, but you remember the name. Now they tell you that we will come to a more serious one about the origin of that thing you call the Bible. Where did they get the information from? I have already proven to you that Moses could not have written the Bible because at that time he was not there. Like one of our politicians here, you and I were not there. Moses too was not there. So Moses could not have written about things he hasn't seen. Agree? Now, they said that Ptolemy Philadelphus commissioned 72 or 70 intellectual Jews to transcribe the Torah. We have spoken about Afajato, and I've made you understand that the toe means heel, isn't it? Now, when you are telling me that there was a Torah, and we know that Ra is the sound energy, and the toe is a mountain or a hill, but since it is in a tonal language, a toe could be your ear. A toe could be passed this way. A toe could be your in-law. So you have all these interpretations of the T-O. When you have T-S-I, chi, is water. Chi is delayed. Chi equally means to put off some light or something. So you are having the tonal expression. Whatever the pitch of what you say will tell you a different meaning. So they said that Ptolemy Philadelphus got 70 intellectual Jews to come and sit in the great library of Alexandria and to capture or transcribe what their tutor, supposed to be Moses, taught them in the temples. And what name did they give to themselves? Ptolemy said they were the Septuagint, the 70 intellectual Jews. They were to transcribe what Moses had taught them. They first claimed that no manuscript was given to them. Then they said the Spirit of God went through the 70 cubicles, putting the same ideas into the heads of all these intellectuals. And so they also transcribed the same thing that the Spirit of God had taught them. And that gave us the Bible. Right? And the Bible has how many books? 66 books. Supposed to be 66. And you will see a crocodile. A crocodile will live for 66 years, lay 66 eggs every 10. Now, when these intellectual Jews, the 70 of them were kept there and they came out with their own translations of what Moses had taught them. What comes after that? There was no manuscript. But these British people went down 162 kilometers away from Alexandria, and they found the manuscripts which were used on a dunghill. As if that was not sufficient. I will show you a page. You see the page. See that nobody can bring this information out and claim it to be the true. Now, let me take this Septuagint manuscript. Can you transcribe this thing? Or this one on a more serious note. Look at it. The papyrus. This was the Old Testament. How can you conjure information for those places which are missing? And when you take the New Testament too, you have certain portions which are missing. Then the British, when they went, they found the Osirinkus papyrus. And the Osirinkus papyrus was telling them that the manuscripts were found 162 kilometers away from where the things were supposed to be happening. So who carried the papyrus from Alexandria and brought it further down south? You should not be surprised that you have Lower Egypt on the delta of the Nile and Upper Egypt in the belly of the Nile. So the delta of the Nile, they call that place Tom. Either it is the ear, inside the ear. Now you have a Tashi down south. You have Nubia. You've heard of Nubia. Nubia simply means envy or jealousy. When you are jealous of somebody, oh, you are involved in enviness or Nubia. So you have Nubia up till today in the Nile Valley. Mm-hmm. You have a Sudan which has been changed into Sudan. And then the people of the south of Sudan are telling you that they are not part of the Arabic culture. And here we have reached. We are not seeing the truth about ourselves, but we allow other people to come and tell us what they think that God said to them. When I raise my two hands like this, what will be the meaning?
I have nothing.
Huh?
I have nothing.
Okay. No, not that you have nothing. This is the car. The symbol of the car. Now you have the car and the bar. And you have the Kaaba. It's a black rock. So we got out from this country and we flew a line and went down to Israel, to go and buy a rock to come and build a cathedral. Creating the impression that the creator of the universe lives in a house somewhere, which is a lie. If the creator of the universe is a spirit, and according to the book of the beginning, he is the spirit of all spirits, then you can't build a house for him or for her. There has been this discrimination against the women. Every time they say God is a man. But that is not correct. A man never gives birth. It's a woman who gives birth. A woman will take the fluid and keep it for 9 months and bring out bones and flesh and then the spirit. But now we give all the praises to the man. But the man does nothing.
You only have the stake.
Yes, and it stares down there and brings out some fluid.
And that's all.
Yeah, he goes and comes back and crosses the leg and expecting, oh, you haven't cooked yet? What have you been doing all this time? Forgetting that they have to clean up the place, and when everything has been done, he has finished eating, Adwa will collect all the plates and wash them. Make sure the children go to sleep. Meanwhile, the man is happily sleeping, only waiting for the woman to come and receive the rod of Moses.
Oh, and receive the rod of Moses. I am here with Osofo MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE, and we are talking about the Kemet, the Egyptian Kemet or the Asian Kemet. Papa, this
No,
Kemet,
there is no ancient Kemet.
that's what I'm coming at. This thing, the Kemet thing we are talking about,
Yes.
it's very important to Africans.
Okay.
Very important because
Are Africans prepared to know their origin?
that's what I'm coming to ask you.
Okay.
How they are talking about it, especially when you go to South Africa. They are taking this seriously serious, talking about the time, and they are even bringing out. I do a little tour in the Kemet. I had advantage to go there. They have some ratings on the wall where there are parts even they believe that was Mary and Jesus on the wall. This very old wall is, and they believe that everything in the Bible was stolen from the Kemet.
Yes.
And now they are even saying that African time or Africa calendar is also being changed.
But you don't know that one.
No, we because we are learning. I said I had advantage to go there to make a little tour about the place.
You are going, you didn't call me.
Now, this is my question. So Kemet is very important to Africans or everybody black now. So my question is this. These things are important to them. Us, we've lost it. Now, we are not making more research. It's these same people that we claim or believe stole this right from us. These are the same people who are making research and bringing out this information. How do we know whether they are bringing us the right informations? And what can we do to get the accurate informations for our future children?
That's very easy. Because the sages in the temples said they knew a time was going to come when people will try to change the informations they have left behind. These people are searching. What are they doing now? They're going down into the bottom of the Aswan Dam to bring out some of the things they have thrown back there. We had the same problem in this country called Ghana. When we built the Akosombo Dam, what did it not do to the people living around? All the historical records and agricultural developments and all were kept there. And it got flooded. Then the Canadian Prime Minister came and said he had won a contract to come and cut those trees in the lake. Cut the trees and do what with the trees? He will export. He will make money. He knows the value of those trees which have been in the belly of the Akosombo Dam. The same thing they did in Kemet or Kemet in the Southern Valley. Now they have to be lifting those things. But they knew you can cover up the history. But the sages have written in the temple walls, in the pyramid, everything. They said they wrote first. They wrote about 9 inches into the wall. And they plastered it. So when you have come and you have taken the surface information, and you said, yes, Adam and Eve and all these things, you create those stories. But the story itself is there.
Because you see them huge on the walls with images.
Yes. But then I wanted to bring a picture of a dwarf. But I tried to print it out and my machine was playing the mess. When you ask somebody, have you seen a dwarf before? He says, no. So I took a friend and I said, come and see a dwarf. Then he's on my computer. Then he said, but this could be a short man. I said, look at the feet, the knee of the person he is standing by. The person is back somewhere here, and he is standing here, and you will see that he is about 18 inches. A male and a female. What the principle used in the building of the pyramids, up till today, they can't understand. All the architects and all, they cannot understand. Then they attribute it to some people from external places coming onto earth. But this pharaoh, when the pharaohs were standing around, they will always enjoy when a dwarf is brought, because a dwarf can perform so many things. A rock you cannot carry, a dwarf will carry it. I went on a trip to Krachi in Kwanta, or whatever they call it. Then I went and climbed a hill. No car should go there. No motorbike should go there. I went and climbed and went up there. Then I asked the priests who were gathered there. I've been told that there is a hill by Ho. That hill was brought there by the king or whoever came. He was mentioning that master's name. That hill was carried from there and brought down to Ho. I say, yes, it's possible. You know, there is a scientific theory they call the science of levitation. You have heard it on your program before. By levitation, you rise, and it's the same words of power you utter to rise. You can utter the same words of power to the rock to move. So when you give the command, the rock will obey. So people will see that you are carrying the rock, but you are not carrying it. It's the words of power you have used which is moving the rock. At places, people will not see that, oh, the rock is attached to you. But when it reaches the place, if today you go there, buildings around that hill, the hill will decide to shake itself a bit, and you see the cracks on the buildings. And it's telling you that the powers that you need to do those things, there are powers which have been given to you, but you don't want to use them because you have gone to some miseducational institution to miseducate you, and you think that, oh yes, you are all right. You are not. You don't know yourself. So the mystics will tell you, man, know thyself. Who are you? And who are you? And who do you want to be? If you don't know that one, you will dance in semicircles all the time. You go, then you come back to the same point because you have not yet identified yourself.
You have not yet identified yourself. You are watching Revelations. My name is Maame Grace. I'm here with MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE. Papa, so do you think at this age, I know you've done a lot of research.
Yeah.
And I know you've done a lot of things, so you know Africa, and you are not a child. So from when you were like 25 years and comparing when you were like 25 years till now, do you think Africans are gaining their consciousness now?
At a very, very fast rate.
Wow.
Very fast rate. Yesterday I had a call from, what country is that? And he said he has been watching my YouTube videos and all. I said, hey, that's the first country. I've been getting calls and all these things, but that part, no, yeah, from just here, Cameroon. He called me, he says he doesn't know my name. He sent a message, I don't know your name, but all the things you have been teaching, I've been sharing with the anthropologists and all. I said, come on, I am not anybody. You can achieve what you want to achieve if you have the faith in yourself. The problem of Africa is that we want to look outside of ourselves. We want to borrow people's noses to smell. We want to borrow people's eyes to see, and the brains to think, the ears to hear. You will never make it. When you want to borrow, you will never make it. Be yourself. Know who you were in the beginning, who you are now, and who you want to be tomorrow. That is the only solution to Africa's problems. When the French President Macron calls on African leaders to help him to overthrow the Malian military junta, what did the Malians say? Say, if you come, they will carry your corpses and bring back to whichever country you come from. Africa would not like to help a fellow African. Africans are divided between Europe, America, China, and...
So, Papa, do you think this thing will ever change? How we hate ourselves? We hate ourselves.
You who hate yourselves?
No, like, you know, Africans, let me use the word blacks. We don't love our neighbor, our neighbors. Do you think that mindset will ever change? Our selfishness, our greediness and all that. Do you think these behaviors will ever change?
They must change, and they will change.
Amen.
Nobody can prevent the change. Everything passes away, but the only thing which is permanent is change. Change must come. You can load a whole lot of military weapons and all these things. When the change is coming, you can't stop it.
When it's time, it's time.
The time has come. And we must be ready to seize the opportunity and liberate ourselves from all these foreign names. If you continue, when they call John and you look there, but you are not John. You have your name. When they call Peter, you turn. You are not Peter. You were born, you were given a name. Why do you abandon your name? People are coming to realize that they must take their own names, because in their names they have power. When you go and call somebody's name attached to yourself, you say you are Charles. Then Accra Brewery will make the Charles beer and say, Charlie, Charlie, and you are responding to it. The Ghans have a beautiful name for our alcohol. When I used to have some Russian teachers, when they came to our school, what do they drink? They don't drink vodka again. They will drink apeteoshi. They have it in their fridges. They will have the apeteoshi cubes in their fridges. Then when it comes to us, no, apeteoshi is demeaning. We want champagne, we want this. You are not getting anywhere until we get back to what is ours. I don't know if you have remembered the story of Amadala. Amadala was a fishing vessel at Tema Harbor, Tema Fishing Harbor. You remember that story? When they were going to commission a fishing vessel, the archbishop or the bishop and all his big people, they went with the convoy and they threw the champagne. It hit the vessel, broke. Then they clapped. Then the traditionalist went and poured his libation, and they all sat in the vessel to cruise around and come. Just as they were approaching the breakwaters, then there was this terrible storm. And you hear the shout, Jesus, Jesus. The traditional priest called his associates to hold themselves, and one should hold his rein, and they disappeared from the vessel. They were on dry ground. And the Jesus shouted Jesus, until they sank into the water.
That thing, I thought they said it was Mandela. It was rather Amadela.
Amadela.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the vessel. So they tell you that which has been given to you, don't look at what has been given to somebody. It was not given to you. It's been given to you. You have yours. And you don't want that one. You want to go and take somebody's Jesus. That Jesus does not know you. He will never die for you.
So what is my own? Who knows me?
What have you got in your house?
My house.
Yes.
A house.
You don't have anything at all in your house?
No.
Oh. Then you are coming from a restaurant or something. Hey.
Papa.
Black in Africa? Or because you are a Christian? So you don't believe in the things that your ancestors have left for you?
If they didn't leave anything for me.
Who says? You don't come from a house?
I come from, I was given birth by someone.
In a house. So they didn't pray for you. They carried you from the hospital or whatever, then straight to the church. As I baptize you in the name of Jesus and all. That one does nothing. The one which has power is the one you do in your house. Let them pour their libation and call the ancestors to guide you on your journey through life.
That is that is what I have.
Yes, that is your house. You have parents.
Yes.
You have grandparents. You have grandparents. Don't they exist?
Some of them are dead.
They left the flesh, but they are still around.
Oh, okay.
If you call them, they will respond.
Oh, okay.
If you don't call them, don't blame them.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand.
You can place several centuries back. If you can get your ancestors' names.
Even if they didn't know me, if they didn't, I didn't come to meet them, can I still pray and call them?
Papa, you think you don't know them.
I didn't.
But they know you.
Okay. Okay.
They can't forget their lineage. They have a lineage. The genealogy, I set out to investigate my genealogy, where I came from, what happened and all this. I've compiled that one down. But I'm not compiling it like your king has done from Adam. Who was Adam? Where did he meet Adam? And he says he's the 94th generation of Adam. That is his.
So you were listening? You were listening?
You take the book they call the Bible as giving you the Adam story. Herodotus said the people who lived in that area possessed the powers of divination to interpret the will of God. And that will of God interpretation gives you the science of divination. You see, the weather is clear, so you don't need light outside there to see. When the weather is dark, you need light. So the clear weather is half of the equation. The dark weather is the other half of the equation. When you bring the two together, you will get the full equation solved. You are a woman. You are flesh. And you have the other one which is not flesh. You call that one the spirit, the alter ego. That one, if it is out of you, they say your flesh is dead. But that one never dies. You can go, they'll say that you are dead. Some people will be crying here, oh, Maame Grace is dead and all. Someone will be coming from outside there, will meet you on the way. Will greet you and say, oh, I'm going to see somebody around the end. By reaching this junction, sees people crying. And say, oh, what is happening? So Maame Grace has passed on. Say, oh, but I just spoke to her now. How will you see that person? You'll think he's crazy. But he has met you.
Okay. So, Papa, this dead people thing that you were talking about, can anyone call his or her ancestors, or it demands a special person to call them?
If you want to call your ancestor, I should come and tell you. Do I know them?
But me too, I don't know them. I didn't.
You know them. You know their name.
No, okay.
Just pour it down and call their name. And they will respond. You don't need to go to any university. Our culture is not the one taught in the schools.
And why is it not in schools? Why? Why are we not?
Because the schools, when they teach you, the colonialists who brought the education system has a program to prevent you from knowing yourself. So when you go to the school, early in the morning they will say assembly. And they will say that in the name of Jesus, the Father, and all this rubbish. You go and learn all that one. Then you come back empty. So you become Right Reverend Professor Dr. This. Useless.
Yeah? Papa will never make this interview.
What are you doing? Why are you becoming a Right Reverend Professor in somebody's consciousness? What he has taught and written down, then you are copying it. But what you have been given, you have left it. You think that the creator of the universe discriminates? The creator does not discriminate. If the creator does not discriminate, what has been given to you, be proud of it.
Papa, I want to ask you about African time that is being changed.
By you yourself. You will say I'm asking you questions. But when you say, you are telling us that we are in year 2022, right? But when they are talking, they will say, oh, 6,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 1,000,000 years ago. Who were we when they were coining all these things? And just to be very straight, the cycle of the lunar month is how many days? If you don't know, I will help you. You start calculating. You see when the moon first appears, and after how many days it goes off. Then when the moon first appears, go to the beach and look at the waves. Look at the rise of the tidal waves. And when it goes down, it will take 28 days. The 28 days will give you how many months in a year? 13 months. The Egyptians, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Romans, they all keep to the 13 months. And they come and tell us, oh, some months are more than 28 days. And they confuse you, and you believe it. And they told you that Jesus will be coming back in 2,000 years. And you have passed the 2,000 by 22. And you are still believing in his coming. Because they have changed your date, your calculation of time, everything has been changed. When you are here at this time of the day, and you go to Japan, what are you seeing there? It is night. So why do we in the center, we don't determine the time for those people. They determine time for us. And we think that we are developing.
Sad.
We are not developing.
So, Papa, I'm sometimes sad because when you read a bit, you know that Africa is the only continent. Say, almost close to baby, we don't need anything from anybody.
Why should you need? When all the treasures you want are given to you.
Everything. We don't need anything from anybody. But we are the ones suffering. So I sometimes ask myself, where are we going to start from? Are we going to be okay one day?
You see, you have asked a very, very beautiful question. You will be okay in one day if you decide to recognize who you are. And don't continue parading as Mommy Grace. You have a name. Let them call you by your name and you will have the power you need. But if you want to be dancing around with somebody's name, what
Papa,
grace
I have
are you?
my name and I have that name too.
You cannot neutralize the power. You have been given power and you want to neutralize it.
People, should we change the name? Because I throw our comment sections, I say we should change the name. I have a native name. Should we change the name?
What is native?
It's a question. The name my mother and my father gave to me.
That is your name, not your native name.
So what do we call that one? What do we call that name?
That is your name.
It's not a native name.
How can you call yourself a native when that is your original name and you call somebody's name as yours?
Are you the one hosting the show right now?
You said it's your native name. But I'm the host. You are the hostess. The only thing is that you have put on some long flowing hair and my head is Sakura. Otherwise, how can you say that?
Papa, on
your natural name, the natural name that given to you by your parents.
My parents, I was born on Friday.
Yes,
Efia. And they named me Shika. So my name is Efia Shika.
And
that's my name. And they added the grace as my Christian.
No. There should be another name.
The Sika.
No.
My father's name in addition. My father's name is Opoku.
Yes. So Efia Sika Opoku.
And
if you want to do the modern Ghanaian women, then Efia Sika Opoku and then you add your mother's name, or your mother's name comes, then your father's name. So when they ask you, who are you? Oh, I am Efia Sika Opoku. Oh, are you Mr. Opoku's daughter? And you say yes. But if you go calling yourself Grace, Grace from where? No. Be yourself. Fela Anikulapo Kuti said, then they follow them, close them eyes. When you follow and you close your eyes, you will fall into a ditch.
When you follow and close your eyes, you will fall into a ditch. Papa, I'm giving you 5 minutes.
Yes.
I'm not going to interrupt you at all.
Hey.
I want you to speak into the spirit, the soul of Ghanaian youth. Honestly, they are going through troubles, unemployment. It's difficult for them, honestly. I want you to speak words of hope into their system, their energies, so give them hope. At your age, I believe when you speak into their system, some of them will have some kind of peace. They are struggling.
What is the name of that man? He says Exodus is the movement of the Jah people. They must recognize themselves. What is happening, going wrong now is that we are looking out of ourselves for somebody to do for us that which we must do for ourselves. You go around and you see plants growing. When I was at Sakaman, there is a plant which grows. And it's just like mostly on refuse dumps. Then I saw these Koreans. They're staying just around. They will come and take these plants and go. I said, what do these people do with this plant? Then some African Canadian said that is what they use in preparing soup. Then here we don't mind it. We have everything. But we want somebody to employ us so that at the end of the month, he will give us some peanuts. If you want to live as an employee, you will just be regaing backwards into slavery. We see all the things happening, everything that we need, you will have. You go to Barbados and they take a spoonful of sand, sea sand, and put it into a polythene and make the Cupid arrow on it. If you go there, you are a tourist, they will sell it to you, $1. Don't we have the sea here? But go to Teshi Beach and see. It's so nasty.
Even if you go to Israel here, Tiberias, that sea, Tiberias, go and see how they've made the place. Tiberias here.
And what are you doing? You are waiting for somebody to come and do it for you. I went to my village last year. We went, there's a Black Bull Festival we celebrate. So we did the first one in the group. We did the second one in the master's house. The third one, we went to the village. And I organized the people. After having done the ritual sacrifice of the bull, I organized the people and said, clear this place. Then I went and bought calico, one full piece calico. We encircled the baobab tree with it. Then put the master's image on it. There was so much reservation, people were complaining and all these things. Then there was a lady working at Sogakofa Hospital. She went and she saw the thing and said, what a beautiful thing. She organized the drummers, those old people drummers. They came and sat down and they shot the video. I said, well, who has done this wonderful thing? And when I was called and told, I said, but you people said it's bad. They said, but we didn't know. So now we are transforming that place into a meditational center.
Oh.
We have everything that, what water don't we have? We have water bodies. Except for the western region where they have spoiled their water bodies with this galamsey. We have all the water bodies we need. We have something they call the Red Sea somewhere. But when you are going to Akachi...
You pay to go and...
Yes, but when you are going to Akachi, we have the Red River. They call it Toji. It flows from the Petwe Hills and comes to pass through Akachi and enters into the lagoon. And the lagoon, it flows and enters. But what are we seeing? The Chinese have got some place, they are doing fish farming there. The Indians have got a place where they are winning salt. Who says we can't win salt on our land? Who says we can't rear fish? But our rear guard leaders, they are leading from behind, we are in front. And that's the problem with the youth. Those who must tell them, please, don't think that the grasses growing are useless. You can get something out of it. Find out what you can do. Aloe vera grows widely, but we don't respect aloe vera. We don't respect cactus. You know cactus?
Yes, cactus.
Leaving Casablanca to go to the airport, you see the cactus farm. What are we doing with cactus? Nothing. What are we doing with aloe vera? If you have a sore now, there is a cut, and you take aloe vera and you rub around it, in some few minutes' time, it is healed. You won't see any trace. But here we are. Everything that we want, we have. COVID comes, and they say we must put on masks. Meanwhile, COVID is flu. It cannot stand the sun. But some white man says something, so we have to believe. Let us have faith in ourselves. Then we can move forward. The youth can get out of their desperation when they believe that they can do this or that. ancient Egypt or Kemet, then Abyssinia, what were they doing? You go to Agbozuma, when you are leaving Agbozuma heading towards the border, you will see this green papyri plants growing. Formerly, they were using it in constructing their fences and their thatch roof. But now, oh, we don't need that one again. We need a roofing sheet. Roofing sheet. Why? The things which are with you, you are not using it.
And you go to these places, China and all that, and that's what they've used in roofing there.
You go to Tanzania, I was in Dar es Salaam. We went and we were put into a concrete structure.
Even Angola here.
Then you go to just about 100 meters from the main building, you have these thatch roofs there. And the whites, when they come, they go inside that one. You go to Harare, you go up. In the white people's farms, they have constructed their shelters in the trees. You go to the Rift Valley in Kenya, you see their drinking spots, everything up there.
They don't need air conditioning for anything.
We sit down here, we want aircon. There was a director of one of the agencies in Ghana, and he had 11 air conditioners in his 2-bedroom house.
Hey!
He's a gentleman.
11 air conditioning.
11 air conditioning.
Yo, Papa, you're fine.
So, the youth must know that it's not a question of being future leaders. They must be the present leaders. They must do things for themselves. They should not sit down and wait for somebody to do for them. Nobody is going to do it for you because that person also has dependents. He wants to take care of them. You want him to leave his dependents and come and take care of you. You will have to start, and if there is any help, the person will come and help you.
Thank you so much, Papa, for coming. Thank you so much. We are grateful. With
Thank
all
you for
your
thanking
busy
me.
schedules, when we call you, you are here with us to educate us. Thank you so much for coming. If you don't help yourself,
nobody is going to help you.
Nobody is going to help you. By MR.KOFITSE AHADZIE. Let's help ourselves. Same time next week, Revelations will come your way with another episode. Makrawate.